Well, as the title states, silly season in the NFL continues. Are the Browns looking at Shedeur unless the Giants pick? We'll talk about all of that in just one moment. All right. Welcome back to Browns Breakdowns, Proud Partners, Fanatical Els Network, Fans First Sports Network, and of course, our favorite people, Hemisphere Coffee Roasters. Shout out to them. Use this referral code right here, and you can find 15% coming to us whenever you buy any coffee. Greatest coffee you'll have, 10 out of 10. Would recommend. Um, but shout out to them. They are amazing. So, silly season here in the NFL, as I had mentioned, is still going on. If you don't know what silly season means, it just means everyone is going everywhere, but no one goes anywhere. It's just all the rumors ever are currently happening today. And so, I mean, there's just every rumor possible is going on. And so right now, looking at the Browns, of course, we have the number 2 pick, so we get extra talk because again, we're looking at quarterbacks, we're looking at all these different people. So as we come through to almost April now, we're only at time of recording 2 days away from April. We'll be looking at more and more about the draft as this next month continues. And so right now, silly season for the Browns at least involves Kirk Cousins and who we're going to pick at number 2. And that the consensus seems to be it's going to be Shedeur Sanders at number 2, because we're assuming Cam Ward goes off the board to the Titans at number 1. If he doesn't, I hope we go Cam Ward. I really don't feel like either of these quarterbacks are worth drafting in the first round. I know both of them might end up being good. They might end up stinking. It might be one or the other. Personally, I think we should just avoid quarterback and just go defense and a little bit of offense maybe. But I mean, who knows what the Browns are going to do. But looking at the Browns right now, as I had mentioned, Shedeur Sanders is the talk of the town for the Cleveland Browns. People have him going number 2 to us. They have Cam Ward going 1, and so the obvious choice is Shedeur. He isn't terrible, but I feel like it's unfortunately a moment in time where he's rated so high. I think Shedeur, if he went last year, would be a 6th or 7th pick in terms of quarterbacks. Maybe not 6 or 7, but there was like 4 or 5 quarterbacks last year that I would have put ahead of Shedeur. But he's going to go number 2 because the situation demands that. And unfortunately, the Browns are in a point where we're going to be drafting a quarterback who's only this high because there aren't really many that great of quarterbacks around right now. Now, I'm not trying to take away from Shedeur, by the way. He still is great. It's very hard to be ranked this high, regardless of if you got a lucky break with the timing of the picks. It's still very difficult to be able to be the number 2 overall rated pick. But I mean, it's going to be a he could still be good, don't get me wrong. It just feels like he's only number 2 because the situation forced him into that spot. I think he would have been 5 or 6, depending on how the draft board would have fallen in 2024. But again, there's nothing you can do about that. You just have to work with what you have, and the Browns have the number 2 pick and are looking possibly at Shedeur. Now, of course, there's a lot more other picks. There's Mason Graham from Michigan, defensive tackle. He is quite good. Obviously, there's Abdul Carter, who is like, the next Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, Aaron Donald type of person who, in my mind, is the number 1 overall pick, assuming or pretending that those 2 quarterbacks aren't there, right? If Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders weren't on the board, Abdul Carter is the number 1 overall pick. Now, I think Abdul Carter is a great pick for the Browns. I think he is an amazing defensive end. I think now that you have Myles Garrett back, again, I've said before, a tandem between Abdul Carter and Myles Garrett would be a menace on that defensive end, on that defensive line. I mean, if you have Myles Garrett and you have Abdul Carter on either side of the line, that's just devastating because you can't. Because if you put two on Myles Garrett, then you have only one on Abdul Carter, and if you put two on Abdul Carter, you only have one on Myles Garrett. And if you have your tight end or whatever, then that's a tight end that's a slot for the quarterback that he can't throw. There's a lot of damage that the drafting of Abdul Carter would do to opposing teams, which is why he has such a high value, especially for this Browns team. Again, if they look in the second round, we have like 11 picks. We have so many. Going defensive tackle, getting some depth, maybe going defensive tackle in the second round, seeing if anyone falls, going defensive tackle in the 5th or 6th, looking at a running back, looking at obviously edge, looking at maybe a offensive lineman or two. You've got a lot of picks. You've got a lot of holes you can fill right now. Assuming like first 3 rounds, you go Abdul Carter in the first round, a defensive tackle in the second, and then an offensive lineman or another defensive tackle in the third. You can really beef up your defense, and then you go offensive lineman in the 4th, you go running back in the 4th, you go more depth players throughout the 5 through 7 rounds. I mean, there's a lot you can do in this draft. You can trade down. I don't think the Browns are going to trade down. I just don't think that's what they're planning on doing. Again, I don't actually know, but I feel as if the Browns are not looking to trade down. I feel like that's unlikely, just simply because it really isn't a as beneficial as it might seem. I think it still is better if they just stick to number 2. Now, some desperate team might come, right? If you look at like the 23rd, what you're looking for right now is you're looking for a team who is on the edge of thinking they can contend for the Super Bowl, who thinks that trading up to the number 2 pick will put them over the edge and will get them a title, right? That's what you're looking for. So you're looking for a Lions or a Ravens or a who else? You could anyone who like lost in the divisional round, a Broncos, right? You're looking for these teams that are right on the edge of title contention who think that trading up to number 2 and getting an Abdul Carter or getting a Mason Graham or getting one of these players will push them into that category of title contender, right? And so those are the teams you're looking for because you can really squeeze some value out of them because again, they're trading on the thought that they're going to win the Super Bowl next year because of this pick, right? So you can squeeze a little bit more out of them because it's almost like a Rams idea, right? The Rams were on the edge. They felt they could do something. They traded everything they had. They grabbed a few players and they won the Super Bowl, right? Now it compromised the next few years of their drafts and stuff. But you would give up a lot of fan bases, maybe not the Chiefs or the Eagles or the Patriots, but a lot of fan bases, Jaguars, Titans, Browns, Steelers, Ravens even, would give the next like 5 years worth of draft picks to win a Super Bowl right now. So you're looking for those teams who think they have what it takes to win the Super Bowl and are just that one piece away from contending as a true AFC contender / Super Bowl contender. You can squeeze as much value out of them and then obviously trade down to like 26 or whatever. That's obviously the best possibility. You never know. You might have a Giants that just want a quarterback. You might have a 6th overall team who just wants a quarterback. It's hard to. That's like the best scenario, but again, it's just silly season right now. Actually, forgot my ad break. I didn't mean to do that. But I unfortunately don't have a whole lot more to speak about. It's just a quick podcast here, just to get one out. Just talk about what's developing. We're still like a month away, 4 weeks away, ish, like 3.5 weeks. Actually, I think is more accurate from the draft. When the draft comes around and everything will quiet down till training camp again. So looking at the Browns, it's going to simply be it's just going to be simply waiting until the draft day. I've said it before. You won't know what the Browns are going to do until about 10 minutes before the draft starts. Same with the Titans, right? The Titan, all the leaks in the world, and it's really just going to come down to 10 minutes before the pick. So, I mean, we've got a while before any of these leaks or any of these rumors actually have any merit. Most of them don't have any merit. Some, depending on the person, like if it's Adam Scheffler or whatever, might have a little bit more merit than others. But realistically, no one will know what's going on until the actual pick happens. But thank you all for listening. I hope you all enjoyed. I actually forgot my music. I'm all out of sorts apparently. But thank you all for tuning into this podcast. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll talk to you guys on someday later. Peace.